Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel and to another Jade era retro react. Today we've got being honest about something. It's another let's talk video. Her hair does look clean for now. I don't know, she does tend to throw it up just to hide the dirtiness of it, but anyway, let's just get into it.
Not gonna lie, I kind of wish I had a better name for this segment because let's talk, it's like, okay, whatever. I want something more like catchy and fun. So I need to like really think about it. So I hope you guys are having a really good Tuesday. My Tuesday so far has just consisted of cleaning, and I've also been scrap.
Just speaking of like catchy little names and stuff, I was thinking a lot more about, starting the retro react series from video number 1 of hers. So maybe I'll call it something like Legacy Lynn retro reacts or something. I do have to make sure that's not taken though, still. We'll see.
Scrapbooking. I have been obsessed with scrapbooking. I'm going to be showing you guys in a future video all of my scrapbooking stuff because I'm obsessed. So I told you guys, let's get personal. So I'm curious to what kind of personal things you guys want me to talk about. So let's go. Do you ever get nervous about people in real life seeing you and your girlfriend together? Do you avoid going places together? How would you navigate that situation if a picture got leaked? It's definitely something we have thought about, talked about.
Okay, sorry, late on the pause, just clearing my throat. So I don't think we've ever seen a picture of them out together. I know we've seen, like, there's that one infamous photo of White Bee just walking Twinkie or something like that. But why was there never a picture of them taken together? It just makes me think that they really just didn't leave the house that much. Like, Jade did want to go places, Jade wanted to travel, and the whole time it seems like it was just the same thing Amber always did. So,
If it happens, it happens. There's literally nothing.
okay. I'm like, why not just edit this out? But whatever. I'll get my thumbnail.
Hold on. Hello? Hello?
You what, you fat little cunt? You're boring.
Okay. Okay, I have no idea who just tried to call. They didn't say anything. I just feel like in situations like that where if we are in public and someone saw us, snapped a picture, it's kind of something that we just have to accept. I know that's kind of a lame answer, but literally like there's absolutely no other answer that I could give. As you've taken time to look back at some of your
Yeah, it's just if that actually did happen, we all know how she would have really reacted to it.
older videos, do you have any regrets about your behavior, things that you've shared or stuff you didn't do? If so, how will you take those lessons moving forward? The biggest regret that I have on YouTube is sharing my story about a toxic relationship I was in. I just shouldn't have shared that. That is my absolute biggest regret. There are
I cannot stand the way she phrases that to this day, and that's the same way she phrases it still. It's so nasty of her to phrase it like that when she knows what she did. I used the wrong word. Ugh.
Rain and petals eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. Rain and petals eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. My mental.
Not once can she just ever say that she's sorry.
also have been a few times where I regretted sharing my cancer diagnosis because I went through a few months where people were calling me a liar. And on top of already having cancer, having to deal with people calling me a liar about having cancer was.
Listen, like, I'm not saying that it's like right or whatever, but that's really just, you're just reaping what you've sown on that one. You are. That's kind of what you get for being a big fat liar all the time. And that's not a pun, like.
Truly freaking rough. Some other things I regret is like The super hard trolling, like the whole rotisserie chicken, knowing damn well I wasn't gonna eat it all. There was a
Play the clip.
And I remember how everybody was like, she ate the whole chicken. She ate almost the whole chicken.
time where I ordered like 20 wings knowing I was only gonna eat 3. Or like a whole shrimp platter knowing I was only gonna eat like 100 calories of it. You know, things like that.
That's another thing. This damn shrimp platter thing. She still refuses to acknowledge why that video was a problem. Like, she knows it wasn't the calories that she was eating. Everyone knows that shrimp is cheap as hell. Like, it was your attitude. It was your snarky, uppity little attitude that you had for that whole video.
I don't mind a little troll moment. I don't. I think it's funny.
You weren't trolling for the shrimp video. You weren't. That was really how you felt.
It's humorous. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, that's totally fine. But I feel like in those situations, we're just like too extreme.
Except she really did eat that whole chicken, so shut up.
Like it almost felt like I was promoting super unhealthy eating as a morbidly obese person,
And that's exactly why, like, that chicken video got taken down.
it's kind of weird for me to think about now. Will I eat those things in the future? Absolutely. Will I eat fast food in the future? Yes. But there's a way to go about living a normal life while eating those things versus like, hi, I'm gonna troll, I'm gonna promote unhealthy eating as someone who's over 500 pounds. Like it's kind of insane to me, honestly. And right
But you did it. But you still did it. And you know what I've not heard this whole time is I'm sorry. And you also didn't take those videos down. They had to be taken down. So, like, what is this? This is just so performative.
now, as the person that I am and the person I'm trying to become, I will never do that type of trolling ever again. Were you or anyone else
Didn't she not just say something about, like, Aunt Tammy? Like, the words "I'm sorry" isn't in her dictionary? No, it wasn't about Aunt Tammy. It was about Emily. So, while I was looking for the clip of Amber saying that about Emily, I also found a clip of her contradicting that. So, enjoy.
You are literally the queen of dodging accountability. For you to say sorry, random fact, Emily does not know that word. I don't think it's in her vocab. You stayed with her even after she commented suggesting you let Rarity out. Yeah. Why did I forgive that? Because I'm a fucking piece of trash. Because she said she was sorry. She said she didn't know why she did that. She said she would never do it again. Da-da-da-da-da. Neighbor, I think you were heavily manipulated. You have no idea.
How much of this is just projection? For real.
that you know affected by the tornadoes? I hope you're all okay. Thank you so much. I've actually had a lot of people reach out about the tornadoes. Thankfully, everything's good here. It was just a really, really bad storm where I live. And honestly, I kind of like slept through it, which is pretty shocking. If the tables were turned and Becky...
I don't remember her saying anything about the tornadoes, if there was any at the time. Unless another video got deleted that I just don't know about.
was the one who got into a relationship very soon after you two splitting up and invited them to stay at your apartment and was constantly talking about how much she loved them, would you be okay with it? Would you not feel hurt or like your boundaries were being pushed? Okay, so I'm gonna answer
That is so... Let's just see what she says.
this completely honest. There's a big part of me that wants to be like, no, I'd be totally fine. Like, invite her over. But if the roles were reversed, yes, it would have hurt me a lot. I think the reason why Becky and
Interesting. So is she going to say that she's sorry?
I thought it was okay to bring my girlfriend here was because Becky wasn't hurting after the breakup. She was happy. She felt free. I don't know. The breakup was just very different compared
That's an interesting thing to admit, I think.
to like other breakups. I do feel bad for talking about the new relationship so much in front of Becky because I didn't realize that it was upsetting her a little bit. Or maybe it wasn't. Like, I really don't know. But, like,
Aren't you supposed to be an empath and like you know how people are feeling around you all the time, actually? I thought you could read people really well.
I do feel bad about it. But on the other hand, she broke up with me. You know, this is my apartment. And if I want to have someone come visit me, then I should be allowed to do that. Thankfully, when they met, they got.
So she just acted in her own interest with no empathy. Like she decided, she like knew how she would feel if it was her in the situation and decided that she doesn't care, basically. She didn't care enough. She just did what she wanted to anyway. Because she should be able to. Yeah, whatever. No compassion, no care.
Got along. There was like no awkwardness or anything like that. Can you talk about your life when you were younger versus now money-wise? I'm curious because you've talked about being poor in the past and now you can buy more things like Legos or whatever. How does it feel to be able to do that now when you basically grew up with nothing? I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about this. So a really good example is last year when my mom came to visit me, I moved literally 2 days before I was supposed to get a full-fledged hysterectomy. And I wanted everything put away. Like, I didn't want to come home from my surgery with boxes everywhere. So me, Becky, and my mom, we like went crazy. Like, we were putting away everything. And something my mom helped me put away was my clothes. As she was hanging up my dresses, she started crying. Me and my mom are both very emotional. So I totes get it. But I was like, Mom, why are you crying? Like, you're just hanging up my dresses. She like looked around my closet and she was like, look how many clothes do you have? Like, and then she brought up memories of like when I was younger, I literally only had like one pair of pants. I only had one shirt. I literally wore the same thing to school every single day. I literally grew up with nothing. Like, it's crazy that, you know, I can just go to the grocery store and buy whatever I want. But when I was younger, we didn't have money for food. So we would get free food every Saturday. We would get like a box of free food that got delivered.
Sorry, I was just trying to like kind of let her finish her point because I wasn't sure how that was connected at all to the question at first. But yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, I just want to let her kind of finish this answer, then I'll give my thoughts.
Delivered to us, and it's just like little things like that where it's just like, wow. I don't know if that has anything to do with maybe the reason why I have a shopping addiction, because like I wasn't used to that life when I was younger, so now I'm just like, oh my god, I have the money, so let's like spend it all. Like another good example is like school dances. I loved me a school dance, but they always costed money, and my parents didn't have that money. Looking back, how long did you have lymphedema?
Okay. So she did get pretty long-winded there. And, you know, you can say what you want about, like, being able to spend money for the first time. I think everyone who's ever kind of grew up in financial hardship can understand, like, you know, how nice it is to be able to buy things, like, when you get your first job and stuff like that. But the only thing that I mean, obviously, you know, at a certain point, you should grow out of that. You probably shouldn't keep those same habits into your mid-30s, and you should probably save some money, you know? But the only other thing there is with the getting a box of food, like, every Sunday. And she always goes on about how there is never enough food pretty much anywhere she lived, as far as I can tell. And yet, somehow was able to gain and maintain over 200 to 300 to 400 pounds throughout her youth. And it's just like, girl, I think there just wasn't enough food for you. Because otherwise, like, you can't, especially as like a child who should have been like way more active than you are right now, to maintain 200, 300, 400 pounds throughout your entire childhood and youth. You had food, girl. You just didn't have as much food as you wanted. Anyway, let's go.
Before you noticed, were you ever treated for it? No, I have never been treated for lymphedema. It's really weird. I remember the year that it happened.
Why not? Doesn't she have insurance? Didn't she have insurance at this time? Doesn't she have insurance now? Why not get treated for it?
I remember why it happened. I remember how it happened. But it's like it happened overnight. Like, I remember one day literally just being like, uh-oh, it looks like I got lymphedema. It was during a very, like, depressing stage of my life where I literally stayed in my bed constantly. It was because, like, mental health problems. It was because, like, I was so big I couldn't even walk for over a minute. That is when it started to form. And it's like, I'm constantly wondering, like, if I didn't go through, like, that bed-bound moment, would I have lymphedema right now? Like, it's something that I literally...
Is she claiming that right now that she didn't have lymphedema until her bedbound era with Beck? Is that what I'm understanding? Interesting.
really torture myself with like the constant thoughts of it. Getting it treated is something that I really need to look into. Like, I know lymphedema never goes away, but like, you can do things to help it. Are you ever gonna let your audience see more of the inside of your apartment and actually go outside for once? I go outside every day. I like to walk majority of the days. I don't find any fun in filming myself walking unless I'm doing like a time lapse. But if you want to see more of my apartment, here's a little glimpse. A little glimpsey. I mean, maybe I can show more of the apartment like in a future video.
So is she sitting? Wait, yeah, no, she's definitely sitting in this video. Her shoulder, she's like same height as the counter behind her. I thought a few videos ago we were like, oh yes, she picked out a comment that was like, for comment of the day, that was like, don't think we don't notice he's standing, queen. Like, but now we're sitting. Okay.
They said, don't think we haven't noticed you standing instead of sitting in most of these new videos. It feels really good to just stand here and talk to you guys without feeling like I'm out of breath or like there's any sort of pain.
But she can walk and cook and do everything for 30 minutes plus, guys.
Video is just not really something that I think about. Someone actually commented below that question and said, does she have to leave though? To be fair, a lot of vloggers / other channels don't really go anywhere. And she does show the dog walks, even if it's just the dog, which is more respectful.
So what is she sitting on? Do we remember that recent drama with the black folding chair in her video or something? Recent, quote unquote. That's probably what she's sitting on.
In my mind, than to film random neighbors, just saying. And I completely agree with you. It was scary and sad to see you deal with a cancer diagnosis. Since then, however, we haven't seen much of a change in behavior as now you're slipping back into old habits. If a cancer diagnosis wasn't enough to motivate you to change, and a nicer, more supportive audience isn't either, what will? So I don't understand what you mean.
Oof. Absolutely read to filth. I'm honestly really surprised that she picked this question.
When you say that I'm slipping back into old habits, because what? I think tomorrow will be my...
Okay, no, I never mind. I see why she picked this question. She just wants to deny the damn cycle chart some more.
9th weigh-in for you guys in a row? What? Like, I'm literally actively losing weight. I am down over 80 pounds. I don't know what I'm doing now that has any relation to like my old habits. I've seen a lot of people say that like I'm slipping into phase 2. I'm so confused now. I feel like a lot of people just like want that to happen at this point. Like, I literally see comments where people are like, I bet it's gonna happen before Christmas. And I'm just like, why? How about we...
I think probably because you are self-admittedly off track half of the time. That's pretty significant amount of time to be off track.
just like support each other and lift each other up. But
they are. You just can't let go of like the few people who's who naysay, and they're probably just feeders who are preying on your downfall.
I will say without a
I really can't let that go. Ever since I had that thought, it's like, for real.
doubt, I should have lost this weight a lot sooner. I just know that after I got diagnosed with cancer and I had a hysterectomy, my hormones were absolutely insane. Like, my body was trying to go through menopause while I was taking a little tiny estrogen pill. Not only that, but my mental
Because, you know, the thing is, like, from her highest weight in Beck era to now, it is a big difference. And I'm sure the feeders are mad about it because they were getting, like, literally, like she just said, those videos of her eating the whole chicken and the shrimp platter and the other thing in between. I can't remember now. But yeah, so they were getting, like, exactly the videos they wanted, and now they're not, and now they're mad. And she just can't let it go. Her comments were so supportive. You know what? We should start doing comments. Or I should have been before, but I promise. Like, her comments during this time, there was so many ones that with like hundreds of likes too, like saying like that they were proud of her for losing the weight, you know?
health was just like through the roof because I'm over here like, okay, I just got diagnosed with cancer. I literally just had all my female parts just taken out of me. I could no longer have a child. And
Okay, this is not at all to be mean. I'm just being factual, but your body could not sustain a child anyway. And you were already what? Late 20s, 30, 31 or something when this happened? Like, not to say that you're running out of time by that era, but you shouldn't be having kids by the time you're 40, and you hadn't gotten it together in the last 10 years, so you probably weren't going to get it together in order to have a child anyway. So, like, I don't know.
it wasn't even just that. I constantly was just like, what if my cancer spread? What if I get cancer again? Like, it was a lot of mental health problems, and you think that would scare me into like wanting to change and lose weight and all this stuff, but instead it did the reverse effect. It made me want to numb myself, and that's why I got back to my freaking heaviest weight by like 3 pounds. But something that I really, really want to stand by, it's never too late to change. So I'm going to accept that I did not change.
I don't know. What can I say about it? You know, I know it affects everyone differently and stuff, but it's like, it's just such a sigh. It's just such a big sigh. And like Aunt Tammy said recently, like she's been given chance after chance after chance after chance, and she just throws it away. How many other people diagnosed with cancer didn't get better, didn't beat it, and you did? And you're sitting here and you got with a feeder afterwards. Like, come on, come on. It's just so pathetic. It's so insanely pathetic. You have been so lucky, like after your childhood, to be given this many chances to get it together. I can't believe, like, yeah, but at the same time, I'm just sitting here talking to this face. This, like, PC principal face. Oh, God.
Sooner because all I can do is move forward. How did you score free food from McDonald's but still paid $15 for a Diet Coke?
She was absolutely lying, and that's absolutely why it was so cropped in.
What free food are you talking about? Because I did not get no free food. Did you ever think that you'd
Yes, you did, bitch. Yes, you did.
be a YouTuber one day? Are you happy with what you do? When I first started YouTube, I did not expect it to become a job. But like the more I did it, the more I hoped for it. And I was like, can you imagine if this was like my actual job? And then it kind of just like happened. And yes, I can without a doubt say that I am happy being a YouTuber. Of course, there's pros and cons to it. I feel like there's pros and cons to probably like every job out there. And of course,
I really don't think she is. I really don't. I mean, maybe sometimes she is, but I think she's gotten really entitled and kind of lost sight of how kind of lucky she is.
Of course, there are things that I would love to change, but I am so beyond grateful for this opportunity. Sometimes I'm just still in shock by it, I think, because it's like, wow, like I have a roof over my head because people want to hear me talk. I don't know, it's kind of crazy, really. How come you're
I hope it's true, but I just don't believe it, especially after that middle finger of a like notification that she wasn't going to go live the other night to her paying members.
receipt from McDonald's was heavily cropped, and under the total it said free food. It was cropped because it showed the address of the McDonald's, and
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Granted, the website could have changed in the last 3 to 4 years, but no, it wasn't. It did not need to be that cropped in to hide the address. No, it didn't.
obviously I didn't want to share the address. But here you can see the original thing. I'm just gonna cross out the address. I don't really know what the free food thing was, so
I backed it up just so I can inspect this a little more because I still just feel like it's so weird looking. And like I said, granted, the app could have changed in the last 34 years, but this is just not. Does it look different on iPhone too? I don't have iPhone. Can someone tell me? Like, is this how it looks on iPhone? Because it still seems like weird to me. But, you know, I'll let it go if I'm like wrong. And if this is it, like if this is how it looks on like an iPhone.
you can see the original thing. I'm just gonna cross out the address. I don't really
Also, why would the address be here? I don't know.
know what the free food thing was. So, have you ever considered a therapist who specializes in binge eating disorders? The therapist I have now actually does, which I love, and that's why she did recommend intuitive eating, counting calories, following meal plans, counting points, carbs.
That's not what you said before, though. Before, you said if intuitive eating doesn't work out, then you'll just like focus on your childhood and stuff.
Includes weight loss. Thankfully, she said if intuitive eating don't work for me, it's not something I jive with. We can still continue on the therapist-patient relationship and just like make it more about my past and my current situations, my mental health and things. That's a really big thing that triggers binge eaters into binging. I've actually been told this by dietitians, by nutritionists, by doctors. So I definitely
I don't think so. I think you just found some random internet things that said that and you latched onto it. Or someone Instagram DM'd you that and you latched onto it.
trust her word for it. I just don't think intuitive eating is right for me in this moment because my goal is to lose weight. And let's be
And that's fine. It's fine. Just stop lying about it.
real. Let's be real. Intuitively, I want hot Cheetos, and I just know I shouldn't have those. Is it
Exactly. That's why it's fine to not do it.
true that your girlfriend is imaginary? Yes, my girlfriend is fake. I don't know. I'm lonely, and I wanted to feel like I wasn't. And so I thought by making up a girlfriend, it would help. Are you now better able to identify early triggers for or symptoms of your cellulitis? Honestly, the first top 2 things that happened to me, freezing to the point of shivers. I have to have 3 blankets on top of me. It still doesn't even work. And I have a hardcore fever. Sometimes I vomit like a lot. But the biggest thing is while those things are happening, if my leg is even slightly red, then I know it's about to go down, and it's very unfortunate. But when that happens, I'm able to see the doctor.
It's funny how it's always her legs. Well, she says leg. So is it always like the same leg that gets it? Huh.
Super quick, put on antibiotics super quick because I know what's happening. Are you gonna stay in that apartment or are you planning to move? I actually will be moving. I'm going to follow through with the lease I recently signed, and then once the lease is over, I will be moving. and I'm actually going to be moving out of state. So I'm going to be leaving Kentucky, y'all. It's kind of bittersweet, to be honest. Like, it makes me a little bit sad. Like, I used to hate Kentucky, but it's also like, I feel like I made a home here. Like, I've been in this apartment for a couple years now, and it's like I'm used to Kentucky. Somehow I grew fond of it. But
Okay, the timeline with her apartments is like so off in my head. I guess that's another reason I'm glad I'm doing this.
I just feel like, maybe I need to move on. Okay, last question is, were you ever in love with Becky to begin with? I loved Becky unconditionally. Like I loved her like family. I would have taken a bullet for her without a doubt. I'm just not entirely sure I was actually in love, which is okay. But I loved her with all my heart, and I gave her everything that I had. And I
This is just gross. Also, you should have known.
believe that she did the same. I believe that we both tried our best and it just didn't work. All right, guys, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.
This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you all tomorrow.